He had me fooled. Wow, really? I never would have guessed that. Generic Control and the Goosmoo here, back with another kill count. Today we're doing Get Out, which is actually a first for me in the kill count reactions, as this is the first kill count I'm reacting to where I've actually seen the original movie. So this is gonna be fun. I have actually seen the original. I believe it was directed by one of the Key and Peele guys, but this movie came out in 2017. Really weird how it went from Night of the Living Dead last week. You can check out my reaction. That kill count, I'll leave it right up there. Also link down below in the description and in a playlist on my channel. I've made that playlist. You're gonna binge watch all of them. But from that video, which is actually unlisted, so you only way you can get that is through this playlist or through a link, which is actually linked down below in the description of that video. But 1968 to 2017, next week's going to be Chucky 1 and Chucky 2, or Child's Play and Child's Play 2. I didn't actually know that they were called that. I thought they were just called Chucky. But patrons get them a day early, just like got this video a day early, and they go so far in supporting the channel. We received so much support over the last week on Patreon. In the 5 years I've been there, I've never seen this much support within a week span. So shout out to the patrons. I really could not do this if it was not for them. Could not come at a better time, because this has been the worst January that I have ever seen from YouTube. But we're watching Get Out. I'm really excited for this one. I don't remember there being a ton of kills in this movie, but the memes are still relevant to this movie. I'll be streaming today at 5 p.m. probably finishing the pacifist route on Undertale, first playthrough, and that'll be at 5 p.m. But let's go ahead and jump to you at Get Out. All right. Hopefully I don't have to blur any segments for copyright.
Welcome to the Kill Count.
This is the first one I've actually seen.
Our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Get Out, released in 2017 by writer-director Jordan Peele and his directorial
that's
debut.
it. Yep.
I'm doing this.
I knew it was one of the guys from
with
Key and Peele.
Dead because Peele has cited Romero's seminal work as a major influence on Get Out. Both films feature a black man more or less isolated inside a house full of white people.
Oh, so that's why we did this. Okay.
Both movies ended up being huge in what they said about race. Now, while Romero has said he didn't intentionally create Night of the Living Dead as a form of racial commentary, Jordan Peele definitely did Get Out. This movie's got a whole lot of things to say about systemic racism, with Peele specifically saying it's about the lack of acknowledgement that racism exists. But it's also a really well-crafted movie in general, with an amazing cast, some nice twists, and while we have to wait until the end to see them, some pretty great kills. Now, I'm not 100%
yeah, there's like none in the beginning. Like, it was all to, like, the entire family,
I pretty much got a PhD in talking about kills, so let's get to them.
I don't remember there being a ton of kills.
The movie begins with a cold open where a black guy is walking down the street in a neighborhood he's not entirely comfortable in.
Confusing as suburb.
Doesn't help when a car driving by pulls a Yui and starts following him. The guy tries to turn around and cross the street, but he's accosted by someone in a knight's helm who puts him in a headlock and knocks him out. He drags him away, puts him in the trunk of his car, and drives away as the credits start. There are a couple of cool songs over them, including Childish Gambino's Redbone. And that's just one more reason you should probably go watch this movie for real instead of just kill counting it up like I know so many of you do.
I mean, I've actually seen this one, which is weird because I've seen like 5 movies in my life.
His first visit to the home of his girlfriend, Rose Armitage. They're a super good-looking couple and totes in love. He might even love her more than his adorable puppy Sid. But something is bothering him.
Do they know I'm black?
Rose says no, but that it doesn't matter because her parents are nice, non-racist, liberal folk.
My dad would have voted for Obama a 3rd time if he could have.
Chris is still nervous enough to want to smoke, even though Rose ain't having it since she's trying to quit. Chris avoids that becoming an argument by calling up his buddy Rod, who works at TSA and is going to be watching Sid over the weekend. Rod's skeptical of Chris's weekend plans.
You never take my advice.
Like what?
Like, don't go to a white girl parent's house.
But Chris doesn't think anything of it. They end up hitting a deer that jumps in front of the car, and while they're sorting it all out with the cop,
what car is that?
Uncomfortable.
Sir, can I see your license, please?
Wait, why?
Yeah, I have state ID.
Rose gets up in arms about the way the cop is treating Chris, whereas Chris reacts like this is everyday shit for him, because, you know, it probably is. It doesn't stop him from appreciating
I watch a lot of police footage.
I'm not gonna let anyone fuck with my man.
Oh, they're so cute, guys. I love them.
They're such a good couple.
Where Father Dean and Mother Missy give them a warm welcome. Dean even says he's happy they hit a deer.
I say one down, a couple 100,000 to go. I see a dead deer on the side of the road, I think to myself, that's a start.
Man, he really doesn't like deer. I wonder if that's code for something.
I wonder why.
Dean seems to be just a goofy dad who's excited to give Chris a tour of the house, including a picture of his dad who just narrowly lost against Jesse Owens to qualify for the Olympics. And in case you didn't know, Jesse Owens was a black sprinter who kicked ass
doesn't know who Jesse Owens
Olympics
is?
in Berlin and, quote,
in Berlin
crushed Hitler's myth of Aryan supremacy. You can already see there's going to be a lot of symbolism in this.
Yeah, it was a
During
big deal.
Tour, Chris also
a really big deal.
House staff,
I'm actually recording this on Jackie Robinson's birthday.
Groundskeeper. Dean admits that it looks bad, but that they hired
also, go watch 42 if you haven't.
parents, and they just kept them on after his parents passed. Chris's mom has also passed away, as he reveals during tea time, wherein it also comes out that Missy is a therapist who could use hypnosis to help Chris kick his smoking habit. How about it, Chris? Want these rich white strangers fucking around inside your brain?
I'm good, actually.
Good call, dude. Rose's brother Jeremy arrives, and that night they all sit down for a family dinner. Embarrassing stories are shared and laughs are had, but something
dude, the brother is...
And I don't just mean Jeremy's hair hygiene. I'm talking about shit like Georgina's behavior. Earlier, she wigged out while pouring some drinks, and now seems to be just kind of catatonic in the kitchen. And Jeremy's all kinds of creepy, asking Chris real intently if he's ever done MMA.
With your frame and your genetic makeup, if you really pushed your body, you'd be a fucking beast.
He even tries to drunkenly engage in some jujitsu, but the rest of the family shuts it down. At least Rose seems to be aware of how weird her family's acting, as she complains in her underwear and compares her family to the cop they faced earlier. Chris has a moment of "I told you so," but they assure each other of their love and go to bed. Chris has a hard time sleeping that night, so he heads out back for a cigarette, and it's the perfect time for the movie to dial up its weirdness. Walter cranks it up a few notches, and runs at Chris full speed like he's groundskeeper Flash, and Georgina throws it to 11 by doing glamour poses in the reflection of the window. To cap off Chris's evening of what the fuckery, on his way back to bed, he gets confronted by Missy, who's chilling in this chair ready to grill him on his smoking.
Do you smoke in front of my daughter?
The conversation then moves into Chris's mother's death, and Chris realizes that Missy may be starting her hypnosis.
Wait, are we?
Where were you when she died?
He doesn't want to go along with it, but Missy's
like, I'm good.
And he seems unable to resist. Apparently, his mom died on her way home from work while he was a kid watching TV, and he feels guilty because he never called anyone to try to help her. To be fair, though, that would have been like prime Nicktoon era television, so don't feel too bad, Chris. This is just one of many scenes that exemplify the outstanding talent of Daniel Kaluuya, who, by the way, is British as fuck and is doing an impeccable accent throughout this entire movie. He's eventually paralyzed by her.
He had me fooled. Wow, really?
Now.
I never would have guessed that.
Sink into the floor.
Wait.
Sink.
And sink he does, falling into an endless void in a very memorable effect that makes him seem like he's floating in a mixture of deep sea and deep space. Physically, he's still in his chair, frozen, and Missy leans into his face and tells him where he is.
Now you're in this sunken place.
That is a place I do not want to be. She shuts his eyes and he wakes up in bed covered in sweat and
Mugen Train, I want to say.
Later that day, he tries to make small talk with Walter, who seems more than a little off in his mannerisms, and especially the way he talks about Rose.
One of a kind, top of the line, a real doggone keeper.
He also confirms that Chris was indeed sitting with Missy in a session. Chris tells Rose about it and says that her hypnosis did seem to work, and that the thought of cigarettes makes her want to throw up now. And now it's time to get a party started. The Armitages are having their annual collection of old white people
all
over,
these
some kind of
cars that look
started
similar.
By Dean's parents. All of them are super awkward around Chris, asking him about his golf form, feeling all up on his muscles, and telling him about how cool it is that he's black.
Black is in fashion.
Chris understandably steps away and is relieved when he finally spots another black guy at the party, a guy named Logan. But this dude's pretty weird too, and it's not just his Thurston Howell attire. He's also shacking up with this lady many years his senior and kind of rats on Chris to her.
Chris was just telling me how he felt much more comfortable with my being here.
Then he goes over and models for the other partygoers. Beard guy approves. Seems like Chris is doomed to be entirely uncomfortable here until he runs into Jim Hudson, a blind art dealer who is familiar with Chris's work and tells him it's very impressive. Jim also tried to be a photographer, but then he lost his eyesight. Both of them reflect upon how that shit ain't fair. When Chris goes inside to take a breather from the whole situation, this happens. Yeah, just a little creepy, huh?
Why do they all...
that he keeps finding his phone unplugged, and he thinks it might be Georgina. She comes in later to apologize to him, and he tries to be real with her.
Just too many white people, I get nervous, you know?
But it kind of seems to break her.
Oh, no. No.
What do you mean, no?
No.
What do you mean?
No.
She assures him the Armitages are good to them and treat them like family. Chris checks in with Rod and tells him about all the weird shit.
He's like a TSA
Rod
agent.
gives us the comic relief we expect from Jordan Peele.
I don't know if you know this. White people love making people sex slaves and shit.
Rod's serious, though. He doesn't trust the hypnosis that Chris tells him about and really thinks it's a sex slavering going on. Downstairs, more of the partygoers grill Chris about his experience as a black man living in America, and when he tries to pull Logan over to field the question, Logan starts going on about how great it is. Chris tries to snap a picture of Logan and
the
show
flash
Rod
is
later,
on.
but the flash goes off, and this triggers something in Logan, whose nose starts bleeding as he reminds Chris the name of the movie.
Get out.
Get out. Sorry, man.
Get out!
Missy and Dean try to explain it all away as a seizure, and Logan apologizes for his actions and leaves. Chris and
you
Rose
know,
go for a walk where he tells her
back.
it wasn't a seizure and that he feels like he knew Logan.
But he trusts her.
They argue for a little bit until he opens up more about his mom and reveals that a phone call
no kills yet,
life since she had lain dying
unless
for
that deer
hours
would
after
count.
her accident. Rose agrees to leave with him and they embrace, reaffirming their love.
Or maybe this one doesn't
While
get a
this is
recount.
happening, the old folks back at the Armitage
having an
estate are
auction.
having a sort of silent auction
with bingo
Chris's
cards
portrait on display. We're not entirely sure what's going on here, but by the end of it, it looks like Jim Hudson has won out at an impressive price. It's a really interesting scene that manages to feel super sinister, even when you don't quite know the import of it right away. Chris and Rose get back to the house, where everyone stares them down with joyless smiles, and Jeremy plays the ukulele like he's auditioning for Deliverance. Chris sends Rod the picture he took of Logan, and Rod tells him it's a dude named Andre that they know and have met before. He was the guy in the cold open of the movie, actually, and he's been missing for 6 months now. Rod falls back on his
You actually see his face.
Oh shit!
He's like, I'm right.
Talk further. Chris relays to Rose how urgently they need to leave, and then he notices a little cubby door open. He peeks inside and finds a box of pictures of Rose with a bunch of different black guys, even though she told him he was the first black boyfriend she ever had. Even weirder is when he finds pictures of her with Andre and then with Walter and Georgina. What the fuck is going on here, Chris? Chris goes to leave,
why
the
would you
family
keep
isn't
that
interested in
there?
letting him go, and Rose just can't seem to find her keys. The weirdness breaks out into the open now, with Dean talking about some heavy cryptic shit.
We are the gods, trapped in cocoons.
Jeremy even takes a swipe at Chris and
with a
Rose
lacrosse
reveals
stick
that she has the keys, but Chris can't have them. Nah. He finally goes to make a run for it, but the hypnosis strikes, paralyzing Chris and knocking him to the ground. Falling into the sunken place, he watches as Dean and Jeremy carry him away. Rose feebly tells him that he was one of her favorites. Now we're gonna hang with Rod for a bit while he tries to call Chris.
Honestly, I kind of get that feeling sometimes.
He researches Andre online, revealing that he's the one guy in the world who uses.
You feel like really like far away from something, like your arms feel like they're 10 feet long.
He shows Andre's picture to Detective Latoya and reveals his ultimate theory about brainwashing and sex slavery.
I don't know if I'll talk about that part there.
Yeah, needless to say, she and the two cops she pulls in to hear him out don't really believe him. Meanwhile, Chris wakes up in a sort of game room, bound to a chair and facing an old-school television. It starts playing a tape of Dean's dad, Roman Armitage, who looks like a spokesman for high-fiber diets and who explains to the viewer that they've been chosen due to their genetic gifts. He says the coagula procedure will combine those physical traits with the determination and intelligence of white people to create a perfect being. Then a teacup appears on screen and sends Chris back to sleep. He wakes up again to find Jim Hudson on the TV, able to interact with him via some sort of intercom. Hudson tells him he's supposed to prepare him mentally for the procedure they're about to undergo, which involves pretty much a brain transfer, although a sliver of Chris will remain along with his brainstem.
You'll be able to see and hear what your body is doing, but your existence will be as a passenger.
That's right, he's gonna be living in the sunken place. Fucking terrifying, right?
Yeah.
Chris asks why it's with black people, and Jim mentions how several people want the perceived physical superiority of their race, but that Jim's not like that. You know, some of his best friends are black. He just wants Chris's eyes. He signs off, and Chris plays with some of the chair stuffing that he's torn out. Eventually, the teacup comes back on screen and knocks him out.
And
Dean gets going with the procedure, with Nurse Jeremy assisting him. He cuts open Jim Hudson's head, and while the heart monitor keeps beeping steadily along, I'm gonna add Jim to the kill count right now, because spoiler alert, he ain't ever coming back from this situation. Weird that our first kill isn't until nearly an hour and a half into the movie, but this film's about a lot more than just kills. While Dean's handling that brain meat, Jeremy goes to get Chris's unconscious body. With Jeremy's back turned, Chris takes a bocce ball and nails Jeremy in the head with it,
that in the back of the head.
For good measure. We see that he saved himself from hypnosis by literally picking that cotton out of the chair and stuffing it into his ears. That's some great reclamation, Chris.
I didn't even put that one together. That's cool. That's great. I like that.
Impaling him with the antlers of a stuffed deer head for the second kill of the movie. Even more fun symbolic stuff.
You think
here,
Chuck Testa
is a term historically used against black men in post-Reconstruction America. On his way out, Chris runs into Missy, who reaches for her teacup but doesn't make it before Chris smashes it to pieces. They have a short standoff before she takes a letter opener and tries to stab him with it, but he takes it through the hand like a champ and turns it back around on her.
I've kind of done that with a knife before.
Even the eye there, just off screen. Hey Missy, stop stabbing yourself. Almost out the front door, Chris is attacked by Jeremy, who's
somehow
back into consciousness and is eager to finally get his jujitsu match on with Chris. He almost puts Chris to sleep with a headlock, but Chris stabs him in the leg with that lever and then kicks him down, ultimately killing him with a series of super violent, super squishy kicks to the fucking head. Get out of here, Jeremy, you nasty little racist weasel. Next time, try dry shampoo. Rose hasn't heard all this because she's been too busy listening to white people music and cruising the internet for her next potential victim, all while eating Fruit Loops in an overtly symbolic way. Notice how she separates the white milk from the colored cereal? Outside, Chris takes Jeremy's car, which is shown to be the one from the cold open that drove
serial
away
before.
with Andre in the trunk, but before he can get away, he hits Georgina. Feeling remorse from his mother's death and Georgina's earlier breakdown, he saves her and takes her in the car with him. But when she comes to, she attacks him and causes him to crash the car. This accident kills Georgina.
No airbag
deployment. To be
deployment.
housing the brain and soul or whatever of Dean's mother, Marion Armitage. Not anymore though, because now they both dead. Rose has finally gotten savvy to the situation and hunts Chris down with a rifle. She sicks Walter on him, housing the brain and soul or whatever of Dean's dad, Roman. Chris pulls his camera flash trick again, triggering an awakening in whoever's sunken inside Walter. He asks Rose for the gun to finish the job himself, but shoots her in the belly instead. He then turns the gun on himself, killing the Roman-Walter combo for the 6th kill of the movie. Rose is still alive, and she tries to grab the gun, but Chris beats her to it and slides it away from her. He starts to strangle her, but a cop car shows up, and holy shit, guys, this could be the darkest fucking ending I've ever seen. We just watched Night of the Living Dead. We saw that racist cop in the beginning. We know the historical context surrounding this moment as Chris puts his hands up in a gesture that says, "Don't shoot." I was all ready to have my heart broken, but out of the cop car steps Rod Williams, TSA. Chris gets in the car and Rod has his own moment of "I told you so" before Chris asks him how the hell he figured everything out.
After all that.
TS motherfucking A. We handle shit. What we do. Consider this situation. Fucking handle.
With the situation fucking handled, they drive off, leaving Rose to die in the middle of the road. The 7th and final kill of the movie. Turns out the original ending did actually have Chris arrested for strangling Rose to death, but Jordan Peele felt like there was just too much real shit going on, and that his protagonist needed a win. Also, for everyone who kept commenting that this movie wouldn't have enough kills, it had just as many as the first Scream. Don't believe me?
Yeah, no, it did 7. Which was actually surprising. No, and the teacup in the background. No, at least he didn't like actually like make the sound.
What with the sunken place and all, but I'm gonna say 7 people died in Get Out. My apologies to whoever was chilling inside Grandma and Grandpa Armitage. Of those 7 victims, 4 were male and 3 were female, a nearly even split between genders.
Nearly.
At a time of 104 minutes, that comes out to a kill on average almost every 15 minutes.
Which is close to the first Scream.
There weren't any kills until the last 20 minutes of the film. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest death to Dean. I can't say I've ever seen anyone killed with a mounted deer head before, so that's points for originality. Add in the symbolism and the blood, and it's clearly the standout kill of the movie. Machete for lamest.
He's also kind of like
caused herself to get killed
the main like bad guy, or like the head of the bad guys.
And set a few box office records for black film.
Did it? Oh, okay, that's good.
100% on Rotten Tomatoes for a while, and I'm glad it got such a good reception because I'd be happy to see plenty more horror from Jordan Peele.
Didn't he? He made more, didn't he?
Series with Child's Play, but until then,
yeah, I didn't know that Chucky movies were called that.
This has been the Kill Count. Hey guys, thanks a lot for watching the Kill Count for Get Out. I want to thank
next week we're gonna do
like
Child's Play 1 and
Calvin
2.
Smith, Wrong Ticket,
yeah, I've had the best week on Patreon in the 5 years I've been on there. Shout out to the
Click that button right over there.
It's been a rough January, so shout out to them.
We also have official merchandise out now. Dead Meat pins available at deadmeatstore.com. If you can't afford to do any of that, just keep watching and sharing the videos.
But there is a playlist on my channel for the kill counts now. There's going to be a lot of them. This series is going to be going on for quite a long time on the channel. So if you're interested in the videos, I would really hope that you subscribe as we are approaching 100,000 subscribers. I think we have over 86,000 right now, so we're less than 14,000 subscribers away from 100,000, which is an insane milestone to think about. But this was Get Out, a movie I really enjoyed when I watched it. I didn't even catch all the symbolism until I watched this video, so I'm really glad that I did. And I know nothing about the Chucky movies. I didn't know they were called that. I didn't know they were called Child's Play. So I know it's like the 3rd time I've said that in this video, but I know nothing about Chucky other than it's like a doll that like comes to life, and I think he has like a girlfriend or a wife or something. I don't know. It's going to be something. I look forward to it. Patrons get there. Really hope you're subscribed. But until next video, take care and cue the music.
We were playing